3, 2. On today's show, something is brewing, dare I say, buzzing in the Eastern Conference. The Charlotte Hornets coming on strong. Luka Doncic, incredible game. Game night right now.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
And welcome. You are Locked On to NBA Game Night. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being an everyday, making Locked On NBA your first listen every day, and making us the #1 sports podcast network out there. Joining me, as always, from Locked On Bucks. What'd you see in the NBA tonight, Camille Davis?
We had some interesting lineups out there tonight, but we had some standout performances that made Monday night's games like, okay, I see you out here really hooping.
Absolutely. Luka Doncic really hooping for the Lakers. Incredible game for him, but just kind of like another game that he's had. He's had many of those. The Magic falling to the Cavs. Are we worried about the Magic? We'll talk about them. We'll also talk about the Celtics. Was the Tatum injury good for them? Wes Goldberg has a spicy take in this one that I want to get to. The Pacers lose to the Hawks. The Grizzlies. Joe Mullinax is having a hard time with the Grizzlies right now. I'll just say that. And then the Golden State Warriors, I guess, put up an NBA lineup tonight, but we'll also talk about them too. We're going to start right here, Camille, in a way that we don't often start on these national shows. We have these national shows. We cover every single team in the association. Game night, we cover every game every night. So we have covered the Hornets, right? They have won these games, but not often do we start with the Charlotte Hornets. And right now we're starting with the Charlotte Hornets because they get a 130-93 win against the Philadelphia 76ers. They were up by 50 in the fourth quarter of this one. Absolutely insane. Charlotte is 8-5 in their last 13. They've been playing really well, and I want to hear from our guy, Doug Branson, as to why the Hornets are starting to play really well lately.
And so when people say, what's gotten into the Charlotte Hornets? It's about health, but it's also about these guys like Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball, Canipple, Miles Bridges, Moussa Diabate, Grant Williams, Josh Green, NBA level players that know what to do when the ball is in their hands, but then the next level, playing together with each other consistently so that they not only know what they individually need to do, but they know collectively as a unit what everyone else is supposed to be doing. And that helps you play with pace. I always said this, it's difficult to play with pace effectively. You can play with pace, you can run all day long, but it's difficult to play with pace effectively if you haven't been playing with the same guys, the same rotation over and over and over again, where you have that rhythm and understanding, particularly when you get into the middle of the season, when there's not a lot of practice time, when the games themselves are how you work each other and work yourself into a rhythm. Then it becomes vastly more difficult when players are constantly, particularly your best players, are constantly in and out of the lineup. Well, the Hornets haven't had that issue lately, and so they get a 3-game winning streak here with a 130-93 victory over the Philadelphia.
They get the win, and he's right. The last 13 games I talked about, they went 8-5. They've had 12 games of Brandon Miller, 13 games with LaMelo Ball, 13 from Canipple, 13 from Miles Bridges, 11 from Moussa Diabate, 13 from Zion James, 9 from Ryan Kalkbrenner, 12 from Colin Sexton. That's the start of their rotation. And they've gotten some healthy games out of these guys.
Yeah, and they had some guys who were picking up some big minutes earlier in the season while the injuries were going on, still relishing in their roles because they were able to get that experience earlier in bigger roles. Look at the rookies on that team right there, where you have Canipple, who's been one of those names thrown out there hey, consider him for Rookie of the Year. He should be in the conversation. You've seen what Kalkbrenner has. I know you don't agree, but he's in the conversation.
No, I talked about that on Locked On Mavs today. He's closer than I even thought after I started to go through it.
Hooping this season, hooping. Then you have Kalkbrenner off the bench as well as Zion James. And those are guys who are contributing to this team as well. You've mentioned the last 13 games for them. Mm-hmm. If you just look at the league since January 1st, since we turned to 2026, The Hornets have the second best offense in the league and the third best defense. They are number 1 in net rating for the month of January, plus 12.1. Charlotte has been clicking to start the new year.
Helps when you get 2 wins by like 50.
Yeah.
That number
helps so much.
The Hornets, this is a stat by Tim Reynolds. I saw him post this earlier. Charlotte, in games where they led by 49 points or more, January 2026, 2 games like that. They've led by at least 49 points. Every other Hornets game combined since 1996, once they've had 2 games where they led by 49 points or more in this month, and only one the entire rest of their existence. The last team in the NBA, by the way, to have 2 50-point leads in the same calendar month, the Phoenix Suns in 2009. 7 seconds or less Suns.
Jeez.
That's the last time. I mean, they're doing stuff we haven't seen. And yes, some of it is because of like this game had to be pushed up to like 12:30 or 1:30 Eastern time because of snow. And so there was not a lot of people there. They actually at the beginning of this game, like called everybody down from the upper levels and like, everybody just come to the lower bowl. They didn't even fill it up. They didn't even fill up the lower bowl because nobody expected that game to be played at that time. The Sixers are coming in. They didn't have Joel Embiid, didn't have Paul George. And so I was listening to Doug talk about this, and he's like, yeah, we can couch it in all the different ways we can. Maybe it wasn't a 50-point win for the Hornets, but it's still a win, right? They still went in and beat that team, and they still have had some really good games lately. In the middle quarters of this game, the Hornets won at 81-37. Brandon Miller had 26 of his 30 points in those 2 middle quarters. He hit 5 threes, had 5 free throws as well. He was a plus 37 in the second and third quarter combined. Brandon Miller was shooting the lights out of that ball.
Brandon Miller, he's one of those guys too, because the injuries have been just affecting him throughout his young NBA career thus far. But when he is on the court, like it's Paul George-ish, the way that he moves. Like you can tell. I remember when he said that people were like making fun of him, like Paul George.
Yes, they should have made fun of him. He said someone asked Brandon Miller, who is your GOAT? And he said Paul George. Okay, I'll stop.
His GOAT. Now,
I mean, my GOAT is Dirks, and I know he's not the greatest player of all time.
All right, see, sometimes it's like that, but his game is modeled so much after Paul George, and I can see why a lot of younger players look at Paul George's game and want to emulate it because it's a do-it-all forward coming from the LeBron ilk of a forward. So Brandon Miller, man, he had himself a game tonight too. Super efficient from the field as well. 30 points on 11 shots.
The thing about this,
6-8 from 3. Like what?
The Hornets also had 23 turnovers in this game, and
that's a problem for them.
And the Sixers scored a bunch of points off of them too. Like they had a ton of points off of those turnovers. The thing about the Hornets now is that they've slowly but surely like added top end, like top 10 talent each of the last couple of drafts, and it finally makes sense. Like they finally have LaMelo Ball, the distributor, big guard that can get things going. Brandon Miller, sharpshooter, score guy, do it all like you said. Canipple, like sharpshooter, and then also can do a little bit off the dribble too.
Little secondary playmaker too.
Yeah, playmaker. Diabate is the roller guy. Miles Bridges is your slasher and your lob finisher and can shoot a little bit too. Like you finally have this cohesive unit. And then Doug also made this great point too that they have these guys now, former Mavericks, Grant Williams, Josh Green, that they added, Colin Sexton, and then their rookies, James and Kalkbrenner have been really good. But these guys are vets and have been around for a while and know how to play. And now they've played with these guys for a little bit now. And a lot of these guys have been injured, so they played with a bunch of different combinations. And now all these guys know how to play with each other. And so you're starting to see that familiarity really help them right now. And so the team finally like makes sense cohesive wise. And then they've also had this familiarity and now they're back healthy. And you're like, okay, now they're actually a basketball team.
And they have a good coach. Charles Lee, I think, is a good. I loved him when he was in Milwaukee. He went to the Boston, got a championship there as well. Like you even see it with the way that the Hornets are playing too, with the love of the 3 ball, which also makes sense when you have a LaMelo there in addition to Canipple. But I think Charles Lee has been doing a fantastic job with the Hornets, and they were one of my like fun, low key league pass teams last year. This year, it's seeing them put it together, and it's super fun to watch.
Absolutely. Really fun to watch, unless you are Marc Farzetta of Locked On Sixers.
76ers have to shovel themselves out of Camden to make it down to Charlotte for Monday afternoon's 3 o'clock tip-off because that's how they played. They looked lethargic in Monday afternoon's 130 to 93 loss to the Hornets. Sixers trailed by 50 going into the fourth quarter. No Joel Embiid, no Paul George, resting them hopefully for just the back-to-back as they host the Milwaukee Bucks Tuesday night at 8 o'clock in South Philly. But Nick Nurse took mercy on Maxey midway through the third when he took him out of the game for good. Maxey played 25 minutes, just 6 points in the loss on 3 of 12 shooting. The lone bright spot, though, for the Sixers, just kidding, there was none. Sixers will try to bounce back when they take on a struggling Milwaukee Bucks team. Has been their story all season long. Bucks have dropped 6 of their last 8.
The swipe at the end too. Like, maybe the best short we've played the whole season.
I know the Sixers almost lost by 50 tonight, but you have to bring my struggling Bucks into the equation to make yourself feel better. What is going on? Why am I catching strays on a night off? What is happening?
Go listen to Locked On Sixers. Great stuff from him and Keith Pompey. And then also Locked On Hornets as well with Doug Branson and Walker Mill, who's on the broadcast today. Shout out to Walker Mill. Locked On Hornets. Yeah. All right, coming up, Luka doing his thing. This Lakers team, flawed. Luka covers lots of flaws. We'll talk about how coming up. Locked On NBA Game Night continues coming up next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life like it does some years. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the guesswork or the stress. I've done this before in the past where you just try to do it yourself and you're trying to fill out all these boxes and there's all these numbers and there's all these addendums and there's all these different things and you're trying to claim things. You're like, I don't know if I can claim. You're doing all this stuff, trying to get everything you can out of your tax return. And then you're nervous about it. You almost submit it. And then you end up going and sending all the documents through with an actual expert, which is what I did a couple years ago. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction you can get. You upload your documents, you go about your day, and you get the updates right in the TurboTax app. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate this year and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night. Being an everyday or listening every day, we have a daily show that covers your favorite team. We also have a Everydayers Club for every single team. You can get ad-free episodes of all of these great shows. You can also get access to our Discord with all kinds of conversation about the NBA, about the games, about just the league in general. Trade deadline coming up. It's going to be fun there. We have a code. Code is a deadline. If you go to the Everydayers Club, the link in the description, go to the Everydayers Club, use the code deadline. You get a month free on any of these great shows. So
take advantage, folks.
Take advantage of that. And the Luka and the Lakers definitely took advantage of the Bulls because the Bulls didn't know what to do with the momentum they had because the Lakers get a big lead in the end of the second quarter. And it was a 20-point lead. And then by like midway through the third quarter, it was a 1-point lead for the Lakers. The Bulls had taken all this momentum and then they didn't know what to do with it. And then Luka and the Lakers finished them off. Let's hear from Brian Kamenetsky of Locked On Lakers.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Kamenetsky, co-host of Locked On Lakers. Lakers in Chicago on Monday. They beat the Bulls 129-118. Luka Doncic is the story here. 46 points on an incredibly efficient 15 of 25 from the floor. He hit 8 of 14 from 3, had 11 assists and 7 rebounds to go along with it. The Lakers pick up another good win on this extended Grammy road trip. LeBron James had 20 points in the first quarter. He finished with 24. The big support for Luka came from Rui Hachimura, hit 9 of 11 shots off the bench, including 4 of 5 from three-point range, 23 points, easily his best game since returning from injury. So again, the Lakers keep the momentum going, and they will try to do the same in Cleveland on Wednesday. Make sure you check back for a full update on Locked On Lakers on tonight's game. We'll see you there.
LeBron James, 20 points in the first half, not in the first quarter. I was looking through that stat and I was like, oh, wait, 20 points in a quarter for LeBron? That would have been incredible. But a great game from him, but even better game from Luka Doncic. 46 points and 11 assists. He just plays with his own speed. He's been doing it since his rookie year. It's his superpower. It's absolutely insane. The control that he has, just going through the lane, slow, getting around guys. He had a step through today where he just took 2 steps off of a pivot where the defender like went to his one side and you go, man, that's so slow, but it doesn't matter because he's so in control of his own pace that he just beats everybody. He was also doing some stuff off the ball today, which I find kind of interesting. Took 14 threes, which is big. They're going to get Austin Reeves back at some point. Between him, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, they've got to play off the ball sometime. And so that's something that Luka has never fully like embraced. He hasn't really had a lot of point guards to play with. Like he had Brunson for like a minute when Brunson was playing like Brunson. He had Kyrie for like a year and some change, and then Luka got traded. Yeah. And so it's great to see Luka cover up a multitude of sins for this Lakers team, because there's just not a lot to write home about outside of him.
Yeah, I mean, in this game too, like you kind of felt what kind of night it was going to be for Luka, because in the first quarter, you're looking like, oh, he got 14 already, and you're just like, okay. And LeBron was also rolling too early. Like there was the clip during the broadcast where you could see him on the bench, like, get me the ball. Like in the first half, LeBron was like, get me the ball. Like I'm going to score. I need it. And you saw it, like 20 points in the first half for LeBron. He does tend to have really good games when he comes to Chicago, play in United Center. So it was good to kind of see him have the first half. Even in the second quarter, Luka didn't score as much in the second quarter. But when that third quarter came, Luka was like, all right, back to business. Here I go.
You
Here
tired?
I go.
LeBron, you tired? You tired? I got you.
I got you. I can play a full 12 minutes in this quarter. I got you.
Oh, I always do.
And also, too, shout out to Rui Hachimura.
Right.
Because this is the second game in a row for him where I've just been like, the boy is hot. Like, he is just knocking down all the shots. He's playing with great energy. It's like seeing the ball go in the hoop for Rui feels like it also fuels him on defense to a certain degree as well.
Yeah, that last game you mentioned was against Dallas. He hit 2 super clutch threes in the fourth quarter that just gave him some momentum, and his shooting was awesome in that game, and then was again awesome in this one. It does feel like, all right, Luka, LeBron, you get Reeves back, you have Rui. Ayton didn't close this game, so I don't know if you're getting an answer. You're not getting an answer there, but you have between him and Jackson Hayes, I guess you have 44 minutes of center play. Like, all right, you can kind of squint. Like, all right, now there's like a feasible team, because then it puts Marcus Smart back on the bench, puts LaRavia back on the bench. Then you feel a little bit deeper with this team, and then it starts to make a little bit more sense. But man, I was nervous for them when the Bulls started to make their comeback. Like a 10-0 run from the end of the second quarter right into the third quarter. And then overall was a 31-12 stretch from the very end of the second quarter through midway through the third. I was like, oh, here we go. Are they going to blow this whole lead again? But the Bulls, they didn't know what they were doing.
They didn't. But Kobe White, he passed Kirk Heinrich for second most threes in franchise history, which I was like, Kirk Heinrich in the record books. I love that. I was a big Kirk Heinrich fan for some reason. I just like watching him play basketball. So that was kind of cool to see. And also love the attention to detail in Chicago. Like they went all out for the Derrick Rose jersey retirement. Mm-hmm. Number 1 is in the rafters. So Benny the Bull changed his uniform number to 99. I respect the details in Chicago. I respect the details.
That is interesting. Wow. And respect to Chicago too.
Yeah.
All right, the Orlando Magic lose to the Cavaliers. The Cavs get a win. Go listen to Locked On Cavs for that one. But I care about the Magic side of this, because this team is in a slide right now. Philip Rossman-Reich, what's going on with your Magic team?
Rossman-Reich, the host of Locked On Magic, as the Orlando Magic fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers 114-98 for their 4th straight loss as they continue to tumble down the standings. I believe they're now, at least for the moment, tied with the Chicago Bulls, but the fact that we're even in the conversation with the Chicago Bulls is another thing. The Magic's offense just frankly stinks. And it's stunk for 15 years now, or 13 years now, whatever it's been since Dwight Howard was here. But it's just hit a seemingly new low over the last few weeks. Orlando can't make threes. That's not news to anybody. They're 29th in the league in three-point field goal percentage. They now can't finish at the rim. They shoot worse than 50% against the Cavs defense, and it really wasn't even against their defense. They just missed shots and missed layups. And at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. Orlando lost to Cleveland on Saturday because they couldn't hit threes, and they lose again tonight on Monday, because they can't make threes and they can't make layups. So losing an 11-point lead, letting Donovan Mitchell get into his groove, and wasting a fantastic game from Paolo Banchero, a season high for him, where he literally did everything that everyone's ever been asking for: shoot efficiently and carry his team to keep them in the game. It's a team sport. Paolo's taking a lot of those arrows and slings, but at the end of the day, you got to make shots. And the Magic simply aren't or can't.
Ooh.
Paolo did have an incredible game, 37 points for him on 21 shots. But this is a game where I look at and I go, man, let's walk through what this Magic team has done this season. They started the season 1-4. Everybody was worried about them, all that. Then they went 12-4 after that. And you're like, okay, all right, they're back on track. This team was supposed to be good. They bring in Desmond Bane. You got Paolo, you got Franz. Anthony Black starts to emerge. Jalen Suggs is back healthy. And you're like, all right, here we go. And then since that 12-4 stretch, they're 10-14. They've only had 2 wins in a row once since December 1st. So they have a good moment and then they lose. like Philip said, their offense is bad again. 23rd in the NBA in offense. This is like since Dwight Howard, they have not had over a top 20 offense, which is been, and this was supposed to be the year with Franz and Paolo and Bane and Suggs, and then now Anthony Black even making this emergence. The problem is Paolo, Franz, and Suggs over the last 2 seasons. This was on the broadcast. They've played 17 games together. In the last 2 seasons, and then this season, the 4 main guys together. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, and Desmond Bane have played 11 games together. In that 11 games, 125 minutes, not very long, but 124 offensive rating, 108 defensive rating. That is elite. If these guys can only stay healthy, we just haven't seen them, though.
And that's the problem. Like we mentioned it talking about Charlotte of like, hey, they haven't had a lot of time on the floor together. This team also in Orlando has not had a lot of time together with their star guys. And then they make this big move in the offseason to bring in Desmond Bane, a fit that I was like, ideally it works. Like that's a guy who can shoot. He fits into the defensive culture. It should be a perfect fit. Also thought the same was going to happen last year with KCP, where it was like, got a 3-point shooter coming in. And for some reason, when he got to Orlando, that shot fell off for him. And now this season for Orlando, the offense is still 20th, even with the emergence of Anthony Black and with Suggs coming back, although he's had the injury problems himself this year as well. So they got to find continuity. And they also cannot let the offense not working affect their defense, because defense is their identity. They have to continue to lean on that aspect of it.
Their defense was second in the NBA last year. We mentioned it. Their offense 23rd this year. Their defense 15th this year.
Not good enough.
They took away their superpower with their defense, bringing in like Desmond Bane and doing all that, and playing smaller. I think a lot of the time, and now their offense is still bad. Like they haven't gotten the reward of playing smaller or doing all that.
No,
Coming up, the Celtics, according to Wes Goldberg, have gotten a lot of reward from Tatum being out. Was it actually a good thing? Tatum being out. I'll talk about that and more coming up. Locked on NBA Game Night continues. Today's episode of Locked on NBA Game Night brought to you by Game Time. We talk about these games all the time. We love seeing a great performance. Luka Doncic comes to Chicago. You got to go see him play. LaMelo Ball and the Hornets are having a great time. If you're a sicko with Locked on Hornets, you want to go to that arena and see those guys play. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs with the fans. I go to every Mavericks game I possibly can because there's just nothing like being in the arena, feeling all the energy, seeing guys like Cooper Flagg and others go off, seeing guys like LeBron, Curry, and Durant in person, all that. So use Game Time to go see those guys play before it's too late. They have all upfront pricing, which is great. You don't get surprised by fees. You can see the view from your seat. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use this code. It's Locked On. Locked On. It's just Locked On, not Locked On NBA anymore. Locked On, LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, if you go to the website, it's gametime.co, not gametime.com.
Big chicken, baby.
I think a lot. I'm very smart.
Take that for that.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up.
It's Counted Up, where we count all the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. 4 more games in the association tonight, and it's time to play John Corrales. Shorts, bingo. Give me one thing you think John Corrales is going to say in this short.
Oh, boy. He's going to say that the Celtics, for a second, they're almost like to slip in an ugly game, but found a way to hit enough big shots or something like that.
Let's see what he says.
It's cold and sloppy outside TD Garden, and it was cold and sloppy inside TD Garden, but the Celtics get the win over Portland. I'm John Corrales from the Locked On Celtics podcast. They won this game in the first quarter when they went up 21. The Blazers scored 11 points in that first quarter. The Celtics defense was pretty good throughout the day. They had some issues there at the center spot. Everybody's sick at center except for Amari Williams, who stepped up and I think did a great job, especially in the first half. He was active. He was setting good screens. He was playing good defense. And when guys are down, guys are sick, having a guy like Amari coming in, two-way player, to step up was really huge. The Celtics hit timely shots. Derek White hit timely shots. There were a lot of turnovers. Like I said, it was gross. It was ugly. There's nothing really to write home about. But they did enough. Whenever the Blazers would cut the lead down to about 10, the Celtics would make a little bit of run and build it back up until a late run by the Blazers to make it interesting at the end. But Celtics hold on. So I'll have much more on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
So Wes Goldberg was on. Wes Goldberg, who is a host of Locked On NBA Daily, Locked On Heat. He's all over this place. He had this quote on the show where he said, Tatum being out for the year was the best thing that could have happened to the Celtics. I think that is going really far. But if you think about it this way, they were able to shed salary. They had the excuses to, all right, we're getting rid of Drew Holiday. We're getting rid of Kentavious, or not KCP, Kristaps Porzingis. Take away the C. Jaylen Brown has this rise now, 7.5 more points per game this season. He's up a rebound a game. His efficiency, he's been absolutely incredible leading this team. They were able to restructure their entire team and go a little bit younger, giving minutes to Jordan Walsh, Hugo Gonzalez, Nehemias Queta has emerged. Really, he's 26, but still, they have this. Anthony Simons expiring now, so they have some flexibility going forward. Was this injury kind of a good thing long term for the Celtics?
Initially when I heard the question, I had a visceral
of
how
course,
would you
it sounds terrible.
Yeah, what do you mean? But when you break down the why behind it, especially where they were able to get their cap sheet and shed the salary and then get the emergence of some younger guys, I think long term it's going to be one of those things where it does work out beneficial for the Celtics. Now, the Jaylen Brown thing, he had that in him the whole time. He just has to share that spotlight with Tatum. I believe I've said that for years. I've been on Jaylen Brown. I think that that's a real hooper.
I think he worked on that left hand though. He got much crap.
It's a lot
that.
Stronger.
That part. And I mean, I agree. Jason Kidd said he was the best player on that team when they were playing against them in the finals, whether that was a tactic or not. I think Jason Kidd actually believed that, even though, sometimes.
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
That's my favorite drop. This is you. So you've had the Jason Kidd experience.
I know that's a fact.
Here's one recently that I don't know if you saw this or not, but he was asked about Cooper Flagg hitting the rookie wall, and somebody was like, "What do you have to do to face the rookie wall?" Jason Kidd said,
"He's got to touch it. He's got to rub it and hold it."
Okay.
Yeah, that clip's not gonna get used in.
I've used it so much, but I love it. It's so great. But yeah. I think this low key was a good thing for the Celtics, right? Obviously you don't want something to happen to Jason Tatum. Terrible for him overall in his career and all that, but they've turned this into a good thing. Let's put it that way.
I'd agree.
The Pacers, I don't know that they've turned this season into a good thing for them because they lose again. Let's hear from Tony East about the Pacers loss to the Hawks where they just melted down in this one.
32, Pacers 116. Sounds like a big Hawks win, but does not tell the game story very well. Tony East here with Locked On Pacers. 30 minutes of play into this game. Halfway through the third quarter, the Pacers were winning by 15 points. They looked great. Their player movement, their ball movement, their shot making, and even some nice defense all on display. They looked very solid. The small ball lineup they've been rocking with recently once again was producing results. Then everything fell apart. Their lead was almost completely gone and was completely gone by the end of the third quarter. They got blown out in the fourth. The final 18 minutes, the Hawks won by over 30 points. An absolute collapse by the Pacers. A problem for them all year in short spurts, but very rarely for that long amount of time. They couldn't get anything going in that stretch. They could not stop the Hawks at all as Atlanta ripped them up, and the Pacers go 1-4 on the road trip. They head back home to play on Wednesday. They got good results from young players on the trip. They beat the Thunder. It wasn't all bad, but
all right, we're done. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, Tony. My question about the Pacers right now, though, has this season shaken your confidence in the idea that the Pacers are just going to bounce right back when Halliburton returns? Give me a 0 to 5. How confident are you?
That they will bounce back?
That they'll just bounce back and be like, all right, top 4 team in the East, contending for, to go to the finals again.
3.5.
Has it gone down this watching this team this season?
A little bit, but not by much. I think that the bones of the team are still very good. It's just that when you have an offensive engine like Tyrese Halliburton, he does so much for that team offensively, getting them set up and all the things of that ilk too. And you see how teams are defending Pascal Siakam now, where he is getting so much attention. And he shines a lot more as that guy who can be that secondary star and really step up. Plus, all the injuries that Indiana has had so far this year, they've just been cobbling together what they can. So I'm not completely off of the Pacers bandwagon. I just think that they had a bad season injury-wise, but I think that once they get healthy and with how things are looking, probably get a really good draft pick in a loaded draft class, I think they're going to be all right and be able to bounce back.
I think I'm with you, but I'm going to go 2 because I'm not as confident. I think they will, but I'm not. In this game, they're just missing Halliburton and Obi Toppin, basically. Mm-hmm. And you lose this bad, have the worst record in the NBA. And it's more about them missing both Halliburton and Miles Turner. They did not replace Miles Turner anyway. That's something that they've been rumored to talk about a bunch of different centers. And so they have to bring Halliburton back. They have to replace the center spot. They get a really good player in the draft. We'll see what happens with them. But it's interesting watching this team going forward. It has not been interesting watching the Grizzlies. Joe Mullinax has lots of feelings, just feelings.
Sound the alarms. The tank is leaving the station. The Memphis Grizzlies continue to look the part of a team that is not actively being serious about playing winning basketball. I'm Joe Mullinax of Locked On Grizzlies, and I know what you're probably going to say, but Joe, they don't have any point guards. But Joe, they don't have any bigs. The Memphis Grizzlies, once again, had a double-digit lead, and once again, they let it slip away. And why? Tell me why, as the Backstreet Boys once said. This is a heartbreak that I cannot take because it is enough to watch this team not run the minutes it's supposed to run with its best players. The 37-year-old, formerly of a torn Achilles, Kevin Durant, played more than Jaren Jackson Jr. in this game. Tell me why. There is no logical reason. Your best players are not playing enough. They're not playing with one another enough. You are putting players in positions that are not good for them, especially considering the challenges they face. This is a Grizzlies-made issue more than anything else.
Ain't nothing but a heartbreak.
Tell me why.
Joe Mullinax has some feelings about the Grizzlies. Go listen to Locked On Grizzlies for more on that. Our final game of the night, the Grizzlies against the Timberwolves, different animal, different wooded animal. The Timberwolves against some facsimile of the Golden State Warriors. My question on it was just a disgusting game. No Anthony Edwards, no Steph Curry, no Jimmy Butler, obviously, no Draymond Green, no Jonathan Kuminga, no Al Horford, no DeAnthony Melton. Who you could argue that's arguably like their top six, seven players in this team. My question for you, Camille. If you're a person that gets to go to this game, you're a Minnesotan and you're going to this game, who are you most excited to see?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Are you a Julius Randle appreciator? Are you a former Grizzlies Mike Conley? Just wanted to see him. Are you a Rudy Gobert screen assist lover? I mean, what are you watching in a game like this?
The Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, you have to love the team and the environment and being there, because I mean, when you see it, like you're looking forward to the matchup of Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry. You don't get it. You do get a sizable win. You get a big win where you get some contributions from some guys like Bones Highland producing for you. You get Dante DiVincenzo doing his thing, 5 and 9 from 3. You get a Minnesota Timberwolves win. Like that's what it's about, Nick. It's about the Timberwolves as a whole, not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 individuals.
It's tough. Starting lineup for the Warriors: Moses Moody, Guy Santos, Quentin Post, Pat Spencer, Brandon Podziemski, Will Richard off the bench, Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield 104 from 3. Even Buddy Hield is like, I don't even. Yeah, Buddy. I'm not even going to do my thing tonight.
Hey, and that's
not even the first Gary Payton, the second one.
Hey, listen, as a Wolves fan, you see that, you're like, I want to win tonight. Seeing who they have, we should win this game. And the Wolves did that. And let me tell you something, Nick. There is something beautiful about seeing your team going up against a shorthanded opponent and having confidence they can come out in victory.
Well, it's more like you're just worried they're going to blow it. And the Warriors did have an 8-point lead in the first quarter, and you're going, what is going on here with this team? If you blow it, it hurts way worse than like a win of like, okay, we beat this team, we should have, like, all right. But if you lose to that team, it's like even worse than
and they don't have to worry about that at all in Minnesota. They got a great win for the rest of those 3 quarters. They're down the stretch.
That's right. Go check out the Everydayers Club. The code is deadline in order to get a free month of any one of our shows. You can get ad-free. You can also get access to the Discord, listen to all those great shows. Locked On Bucks, Locked On Mavs, all kinds of great things happening all the time on those shows. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA Game Night.